For all of human history, for as long as we have been human, we have looked to the heavens and asked the great questions. Who are we? Where did we come from? Where are we going? Are we alone? For millennia, our answers were stories, myths whispered around flickering campfires, epic poems etched into clay, and sacred texts written on papyrus and parchment. These narratives gave us comfort, a sense of place in a universe that often seemed designed for us, with our world at its very center. But in the last several centuries, and with breathtaking speed in the last 50 years, a new story has emerged. It is a story grander, stranger, and more profound than any we had ever told before. It is the story of cosmic evolution, a single unbroken thread of change stretching from the dawn of time to this very moment. It is a story that tells us the universe itself has a history, that stars are born, live, and die in great cycles of creation and destruction, that planets form from their ashes, coalescing from clouds of dust and gas, and that on at least one of these worlds, a small blue marble orbiting an unremarkable yellow star, stardust woke up. This new story, pieced together by the patient, relentless work of science, tells us we are not separate from the universe. We are an integral part of its unfolding. Our bodies are forged from the nuclear hearts of dying stars. Our consciousness is a way for the cosmos to know itself. But this story also contains a startling new chapter, one we are only just beginning to write, and one whose ending is terrifyingly uncertain. It is the chapter on the evolution of culture. On this planet, a single species has unleashed a new kind of evolution, a process so rapid and powerful it now dominates the slow, grinding pace of biology. Cultural evolution has given us art that can move us to tears, science that can unveil the secrets of the atom in the galaxy, and civilizations that can build monuments to touch the sky. It has also given us the power to destroy ourselves, and perhaps the power to transcend our origins entirely. What is this force? Where is it taking us? And if life has emerged on other worlds, has it too unleashed this dangerous creative fire? This is the story of the intimate, explosive relationship between the cosmos and culture. It is the ultimate search for our place in the universe, and a glimpse into the destiny that awaits us and any intelligence among the stars. Change is the most fundamental aspect of everything we see. The ancient Greek philosopher Heraclitus claimed long ago that everything flows and nothing stays. Today, we have overwhelming evidence that he was right on a scale he could never have imagined. From the grandest galaxies to the most delicate snowflakes, from the life of a star to the life of a human being, everything is in a state of becoming. This universal story of change is what scientists call cosmic evolution. It is a grand narrative that connects a vast array of scientific fields: physics, astronomy, geology, chemistry, biology, and anthropology. It's a single, coherent story that stretches from the very beginning of time to the present moment, from the Big Bang to humankind. For most of its history, the universe was a simple place, but over 13.7 billion years, it has grown astonishingly complex. We can visualize this journey with a symbolic guide, the arrow of time. This arrow charts the sequence of events that have changed systems from simplicity to complexity, from inorganic to organic, from chaos to order. It is a thread of change linking the evolution of primal energy into elementary particles, the evolution of those particles into atoms, in turn of those atoms into galaxies and stars, and of stars into heavy elements. It continues with the evolution of those elements into the molecular building blocks of life, of those molecules into life itself, and of intelligent life into the cultured and technological society that we now share. Evolution, it seems, knows no disciplinary boundaries. The most familiar kind of evolution, biological evolution or neo-Darwinism, is just one, albeit important, subset of this broader evolutionary scheme. In short, what Darwinian change does for plants and animals, cosmic evolution aspires to do for all things. And if Darwinism created a revolution of understanding by helping us to free ourselves from the notion that humans are fundamentally different from other life forms on our planet, then cosmic evolution extends that intellectual revolution by treating matter on Earth and in our bodies no differently from the matter in the stars and galaxies beyond. This arrow of time is not meant to imply that we are the goal of the universe. There is no evidence for that. Anthropic principles notwithstanding, there is no logic to support the idea that the universe was conceived specifically to produce us. We humans are surely not the culmination of the cosmic evolutionary scenario, nor are we likely to be the only technologically competent beings that have emerged in this organically rich universe. The arrow merely provides a convenient symbol, artistically depicting a mixture of chance and necessity that operate together while building increasingly complex structures, from spiral galaxies to rocky planets to thinking beings. Nor does time's arrow mean to imply that lower primitive life forms biologically change directly into higher advanced organisms, any more than galaxies physically change into stars or stars into planets. Rather, with time, much time, the environmental conditions suitable for spawning primitive life eventually changed into those favoring the emergence of more complex species. Likewise, in the earlier universe, environments were ripe for galactic formation, but now those conditions are more conducive to stellar and planetary formation. Change in the surrounding environment often precedes change in ordered systems, and the resulting system changes have generally been toward greater amounts of diverse complexity. But this relentless rise of complexity seems to fly in the face of one of the most fundamental laws of physics, the second law of thermodynamics. This law states that in a closed system, disorder, or entropy, always increases. Things fall apart. Order naturally decays into chaos. So how can a universe governed by this law produce the magnificent order we see in a galaxy, a star, or a living cell? The key is that galaxies, stars, and living things are not closed systems. They are open systems. Energy flows through them. Think of a whirlpool in a river. The river itself is flowing towards a more disordered state downstream, but the constant flow of energy from the water creates and maintains the beautiful, ordered structure of the whirlpool. The universe works the same way. The expansion of the cosmos itself creates a massive energy differential. The vast cold emptiness of space and the intensely hot points of light we call stars. This differential drives energy flows, and these energy flows are the engine of creation. They build complexity. A star, a planet, a plant, a society, they all create and maintain their order by taking in high-grade energy and expelling low-grade energy, increasing the total disorder of the universe as a whole. So, order and entropy can increase together, order locally and entropy globally. Life is not a violation of the second law. It is a magnificent expression of it. We can even quantify this rise in complexity. By measuring the energy rate density, the amount of energy flowing through a system per second per gram, we can see a clear pattern. Galaxies are vast, but their energy flow per gram is very low. Stars, like our sun, are more energy dense. Planets are more complex still, but the curve truly takes off with the emergence of life. A simple plant processes far more energy per gram than the sun. An animal, with its active metabolism, processes even more. The human brain, the most complex object we know, is an energetic furnace. But even it is dwarfed by the energy density of modern human society, with its power grids, industries, and information networks. This curve tells a profound story. It shows that the pace of change is accelerating. For billions of years, the universe evolved physically. Then, on Earth, a new phase began: biological evolution. But in just the last few thousand years, a third phase has emerged: cultural evolution. And its rate of change, its consumption of energy, is staggering. We are now in what we might call the life era, at least on this planet, where intelligent life is beginning to dominate matter, just as matter once came to dominate radiation in the early universe. The great 20th century astronomer Harlow Shapley was one of the first great evangelists of this cosmic perspective. In the 1920s, his work showed that our solar system was not at the center of the Milky Way, but on its periphery. It was another great demotion for humanity, following Copernicus. But Shapley didn't see it as a demotion. He saw it as an orientation. He believed this cosmic view should inspire a new kind of reverence, a rational religion grounded in science, not superstition. He wanted to bring the cosmos to culture. This cosmic context, revealed over the last century, has reshaped our culture. It has inspired art, philosophy, and religion. It has fueled our science fiction, our dreams of space travel, and our search for life beyond Earth. But it has also presented us with a profound challenge. If evolution is the master narrative of the universe, what does it say about our own future? And what does it mean for the nature of culture, not just on Earth, but wherever it might arise? The idea of cosmic evolution implies a continuous evolution of the constituent parts of the cosmos from its origins to the present. Planetary evolution, stellar evolution, and the evolution of galaxies could, in theory, be seen as distinct subjects. Indeed, for a long time they were. But the amazing and stunning idea that overarches these separate histories is that the entire universe is evolving, that all of its parts are connected and interact, and that this evolution applies not only to inert matter, but also to life, intelligence, and culture. Physical, biological, and cultural evolution is the essence of the universe. This overarching idea is what is called cosmic evolution, and the idea itself has evolved to the extent that some modern scientists even talk of a cosmic ecology, the life of the cosmos, and the natural selection of universes. Although the question of extraterrestrial life is very old, the concept of a full-blown cosmic evolution, the connected evolution of planets, stars, galaxies, and life on Earth and beyond, is much younger. In the 1800s, a combination of ideas, the nebular hypothesis for the origin of the solar system, the application of evolution to other worlds, and Darwinian evolution on this world, gave rise to the first tentative expressions of this worldview. But astronomers and biologists tended not to embrace such a broad, empirically unsupported concept. Even in the first half of the 20th century, astronomers had to be content with the uniformity of nature argument, confirmed by spectroscopy, which revealed that the same chemical elements were found in the terrestrial and celestial realms.
The Harvard biochemist Lawrence J. Henderson wrote in 1913 that the whole evolutionary process, both cosmic and organic, is one, and the biologist may now rightly regard the universe in its very essence as biocentric. But his idea of a biologically robust cosmic evolution was largely stillborn, partly because just a few years later, the theory that planetary systems were extremely rare became dominant. Without an abundance of planets, cosmic evolution was stymied at the level of the stars. The idea did not have to become the leading overarching principle of 20th century astronomy, but it did, helped along by the Big Bang cosmology, featuring a universe with a beginning, slowly unfolding over time. The history of the Big Bang cosmology therefore parallels, to some extent, the history of cosmic evolution in its grandest sense. When and how did astronomers and biologists come to believe in cosmic evolution as a guiding principle for their work, and how did it become a serious research program? By the 1940s, cosmic, galactic, stellar, planetary, chemical, organic evolution, and cultural evolution emerged as a continuum in a unified evolutionary cosmology. But it was only in the 1950s and 1960s that the cognitive elements, planetary science, the study of planetary systems, origin of life studies, and the search for extraterrestrial intelligence, SETI, combined to form a robust theory of cosmic evolution, as well as to provide an increasing amount of evidence for it. Only then did government funding become available, as the search for life became one of the prime goals of space science, and cosmic evolution became public policy. The catalyst for this unified research program was the space age. In 1960, Joshua Lederberg coined the term exobiology and set forth an ambitious but practical agenda based on space exploration. Over the next 20 years, numerous proclamations of a new discipline were made. The extent to which NASA served as the chief patron of cosmic biological evolution is evident in its sponsorship of many of the major conferences on extraterrestrial life. It was NASA that adopted exobiology as one of the prime goals of space science, and it was from NASA that funding would come. By 1976, $100 million had been spent on the Viking biology experiments designed to search for life on Mars unambiguously. Even as exobiology saw a slump in the 1980s in the aftermath of the Viking failure to detect life on Mars unambiguously, NASA kept exobiology alive. This is true not only of NASA's exobiology program, but also of its SETI program. Born at Ames Research Center in the late 1960s, NASA's SETI program was the flag bearer of cosmic evolution. As it attempted to determine how many planets might have evolved intelligent life, all of the parameters of cosmic evolution, as encapsulated in the Drake equation, came into play. In 1961, at the first conference on interstellar communication, Frank Drake formulated his now famous equation. It purported to estimate the number of technological civilizations in the galaxy, and it became the icon of cosmic evolution, showing in one compact equation not only the astronomical and biological aspects of cosmic evolution, but also its cultural aspects. The first three terms represented the number of stars in the galaxy that had formed planets with environments suitable for life. The next two narrowed it to those on which life and intelligence actually develop, and the final two represented radio-communicative civilizations. L, representing the lifetime of a technological civilization, embodied the success or failure of cultural evolution. Unfortunately, depending on who assigned values to the parameters, the equation yielded numbers ranging from 1, Earth, to many millions of technological civilizations. Drake and most others recognized then and recognize now that this equation is a way of organizing our ignorance. With the demise of a publicly funded NASA SETI program in 1993, the research program of cosmic evolution did not end. In 1995, NASA announced its Origins program, which it described as following the 15 billion year-long chain of events, from the birth of the universe at the Big Bang, through the formation of chemical elements, galaxies, stars, and planets, through the mixing of chemicals and energy that cradles life on Earth, to the earliest self-replicating organisms and the profusion of life. With this proclamation, cosmic evolution became the organizing principle for most of NASA's space science effort. As we enter the 21st century, cosmic evolution is a thriving enterprise, providing the framework for an expansive research program and drawing in young talent sure to perpetuate a new field of science that a half-century ago was non-existent. Since Darwin propounded his theory of evolution by natural selection, evolution has been much more than a science. It has been a worldview that has affected culture in numerous ways. The leaders of the modern evolutionary synthesis in biology, including Julian Huxley, espoused an evolutionary humanism, a secular progressive vision of the world. Cosmic evolution was part of this worldview. During the second half of the 20th century, the evolutionary view of the universe was not only fully in place from the point of view of at least some astronomers and biologists, but was also spreading to the broader culture. Instead of the small and relatively static universe accepted at the turn of the 20th century, humanity was now asked to absorb the idea of an expanding universe, 13.7 billion years old, full of billions of evolving galaxies floating in an Einsteinian spacetime with no center.
In seeking the impact of the new universe on culture, we need to remember that culture is not monolithic and that impact is a notoriously vague term. cosmic consciousness in the form of a biological universe was expressed in many forms in popular culture, some of them unpalatable to most scientists. Belief in UFOs and extraterrestrial abduction, space-oriented religious cults, and ever more elaborate alien scenarios in science fiction. Indeed, all three of these developments may be seen as ways that popular culture attempts to work out the worldview implied by the new universe. Although human reactions have not been monolithic, certain underlying themes are pervasive. The increased awareness of the new universe and the possibility of a biological universe largely dashed any remaining hopes for an anthropocentric universe, with all that implies for religion and philosophy. Even though the idea that the universe was made for humans survives in the form of the anthropic principle, in fact, that principle is a biocentric principle of the fine-tuning of universal laws that points to the possible abundance of life in the universe in many forms, rather than in human form only. And if life is common throughout the universe, then our religions, philosophies, and other human endeavors are too parochial and will need to be significantly altered, expanded, or discarded. The new universe of the late 20th century has spawned renewed analysis of the relation of humans to the cosmos, both inside and outside established religions. Biologist Ursula Goodenough argues in The Sacred Depths of Nature that cosmic evolution is a shared worldview capable of evoking an abiding religious response. Any global tradition, she writes, needs to begin with a shared worldview, a culture-independent, globally accepted consensus as to how things are. She finds this consensus in our scientific account of nature, an account that can be called the epic of evolution. Similarly, the British biochemist and Anglican priest Sir Arthur Peacock has called cosmic evolution Genesis for the third millennium. He believes that any theology, any attempt to relate God to all that is, will be moribund and doomed if it does not incorporate this perspective of cosmic evolution into its very bloodstream. While Freeman Dyson, among others, have argued that the age-old mystery of God will be little changed by human attempts to read his mind, others argue that the new universe not only could but should lead to a new cosmotheology or a new cosmophilosophy. Among the elements such a cosmotheology must take into account are that humanity is in no way physically central to the universe, that humanity is probably not central biologically, that humanity is likely somewhere near the bottom or at best midway in the great chain of being, that we must be open to radically new conceptions of God grounded in cosmic evolution, including the idea of a natural rather than a supernatural God, and that it must have a moral dimension, a reverence and respect for life that includes all species in the universe. Over the next centuries or millennia, religions will likely adjust to these cosmotheological principles. The adjustment will be most wrenching for those monotheistic religions that see man in the image of God. It will be less wrenching for Oriental religions that teach salvation through individual enlightenment rather than through a savior. The adjustment will not be to the physical world, as in Copernicanism, nor to the biological world, as in Darwinism, where man descended from the apes but still remained at the top of the terrestrial world. Rather, the adjustment will be to the biological or even post-biological universe, in which intelligences are likely to be superior to us. Quite aside from theological and philosophical implications, cosmic evolution provides humanity a cosmic context in time, allowing us to place humanity in the 13.7 billion year history of the universe. A small but increasing discipline known as Big History seeks to incorporate human history into cosmic history in a more systematic way. Big History links our understanding of human history with our understanding of other historical sciences, such as cosmology, geology, and biology. It allows us to appreciate the emergent properties of culture in the same way as the emergent properties along the earlier path of cosmic evolution. and it highlights our unique collective learning ability and capacity for symbolic thought that results in our need to find meaning. In short, it reintegrates humans with the long history of the cosmos whence they sprang. Finally, cosmic evolution integrates humans into the cosmos quite literally by teaching us that we are all star stuff. We now know that the atoms in our bodies were forged in nuclear reactions, in stellar furnaces, spewed into the universe in supernova explosions, and incorporated into our bodies through the long process of evolution of life over the last 3.8 billion years on Earth. We recognize that after death, our bodily atoms will be dispersed once again through the universe, recycled to once again become star stuff in a cycle of events that will end only with the death of the universe itself. We are part and parcel of the universe, and at the hour of our death, when we return to the universe, the old phrase from the Book of Common Prayer, earth to earth, ashes to ashes, dust to dust, need only be slightly altered to earth to earth, ashes to ashes, stardust to stardust, to be literally true. Cosmic evolution provides us with a master narrative in an increasingly secular age, a story in which our own birth, life, and death are integral parts of the universe, without recourse to the supernatural. In the end, that may be the ultimate message of the new universe and cosmic evolution.
In addition to the impact of the new universe on culture, cosmic evolution also provides a window on long-term human destiny. In the broadest sense, we have only a limited number of destinies. Cosmic evolution provides at least 3 vastly different scenarios of what the long-term human future may be. The first is the physical universe, in which life is extremely rare. This has, in fact, been our chief worldview for the last several millennia. In the physical universe scenario, all is not lost with respect to the status of humanity. In a universe in which life on Earth is unique or rarely duplicated, humans may still have an important role. Indeed, in such a universe, stewardship of our pale blue dot takes on special significance, for life in the universe depends on our actions over long periods of time. Assuming we don't remain earthbound, the destiny of life in the physical universe is for humans sooner or later to populate the universe. The second possible outcome of cosmic evolution reveals a quite different destiny: the biological universe, the universe in which cosmic evolution commonly ends in life, mind, and intelligence. This means that we will almost certainly interact with extraterrestrials. Science fiction is filled with possibilities, from the horrors of a war of the worlds to warm and fuzzy ETs. In such a universe, humanity may join what has been called a galactic club, whose goal is to enhance knowledge. Taking a long-term view not often discussed, cosmic evolution may have already resulted in a third scenario. Cultural evolution in a biological universe may have already produced or replaced biologicals with artificial intelligence, constituting what can be called a post-biological universe. This idea requires us to take cultural evolution just as seriously as astronomical and biological evolution. It requires us to contemplate cultural evolution on cosmic Stapledonian timescales, as did the writer Olaf Stapledon in his novels Last and First Men and Star Maker. While astronomers are accustomed to thinking in these terms for physical processes, they are not accustomed to thinking on cosmic timescales for biology and culture. But cultural evolution now completely dominates biological evolution on Earth. Given the age of the universe, and if intelligence is common, it may have evolved far beyond us. If intelligence is highly valued for its evolutionary advantage, extraterrestrials would long ago have sought the best way to improve their intelligence, and it is likely to have involved artificial intelligence, yielding the post-biological universe. Such a post-biological universe would have sweeping implications for SETI strategies, for our worldview, and for the destiny of life on Earth. We may see our own future in the evolution of extraterrestrial civilizations, perhaps another motivation for searching.
In short, both in our relationship with extraterrestrials and with God, however conceived, human destiny would be quite different in a universe full of biologicals or post-biologicals than if we were alone. Whatever its long-term destiny, it is surely the destiny of humanity in the near future to follow the trail of scientific evidence wherever it may lead, even if it means abandoning old scientific, philosophical, and theological ideas. Humans have always known intuitively that culture and cosmos are intertwined. We are just now beginning to realize what this coevolution may mean. When we talk about social evolution or cultural evolution, we enter a minefield. The very idea is fraught with a difficult history. In the 19th century, theorists proposed simple linear stages: savagery, barbarism, civilization, which conveniently placed their own European societies at the pinnacle. These ideas were used to justify colonialism and racism. As a result, for much of the 20th century, many anthropologists rejected the concept of social evolution entirely. The old linear models were rightly discarded. We now know that human history is not a single ladder of progress, but a complex, branching bush of countless different adaptations. But this leaves us with a problem. How do we build a scientific theory of cultural change? How do we move beyond simply narrating one damn thing after another to understanding the underlying processes?
To understand cultural evolution, we need a Darwinian idea. We need a replicator. In biology, the replicator is the gene. It's the information that gets copied with variation from one generation to the next. In 1976, Richard Dawkins asked a brilliant question. Are there other replicators on this planet? His answer was yes. Staring us in the face is a new replicator, the meme. A meme is any unit of culture that is copied from person to person. An idea, a skill, a story, a fashion. Like genes, memes compete for survival. They get copied into our brains, and some are better at getting copied than others. The ones that survive and spread are the fittest memes. This gives us a new way to ask the crucial question: cui bono? Who benefits? The traditional view of culture assumes that the answer is always us. We adopt new ideas and technologies because we perceive them to be beneficial. A better fish hook catches more fish. A better farming technique feeds more people. But the meme's eye view offers a radical alternative. Sometimes the answer to cui bono is the meme itself. Think of a virus. A virus isn't good for its host, but it's brilliant at getting itself copied. Some memes are like that. They are cultural parasites. A chain letter, an email virus, a catchy but annoying jingle. These spread not because they benefit us, but because they have clever tricks for getting themselves replicated. They are viruses of the mind. This is where cultural evolution becomes dangerous. We humans are the Pandorans. We opened the box and let the memes loose. And once they are out, we can't control them. Memes are selfish replicators. They will replicate by any means necessary, regardless of the consequences for their human hosts or for the planet. From this perspective, even our most cherished institutions can be seen as vast, co-adapted complexes of memes, or memeplexes, that have evolved for their own survival. Religions are a perfect example. The world's great religions are the winners of a long, brutal evolutionary tournament. They survived by developing brilliant adaptations, memorable stories, beautiful art and music, comforting rituals, answers to life's great mysteries. But they also evolved nasty tricks to ensure their replication: promises of heaven, threats of hell, commandments to spread the faith, and condemnation, even death, for apostates and infidels. They are fantastically successful memeplexes, but their truth value or their benefit to humanity is, from a memetic perspective, secondary to their ability to replicate. But culture began long before humans. It began 3.85 billion years ago with the first bacteria. A bacterial colony is a collective intelligence, a research and development machine. It shares information chemically, solves problems, and reshapes its environment on a planetary scale. They polluted this planet with a toxic gas, oxygen, and in doing so created the world we live in. They are the original masters of planetary engineering. From this sweeping perspective, human culture is just the latest, most explosive chapter in a multi-billion-year story of life's relentless drive to create, to consume, and to expand. Evolution is shouting at us a message, and that message is, get off this planet. Take the grand experiment of life, the 3.85 billion-year project of biomass, to other worlds. We are the only species nature has generated that is capable of this. It is our multi-planetary mandate. If we fail, a single asteroid, a nearby supernova, or our own folly could extinguish not just us, but the entire experiment of complex life on Earth.
This view suggests that culture is not just an earthly phenomenon, but a cosmic one. It is the mechanism by which life, once it becomes intelligent, can escape the confines of its home world and begin to shape the universe on a larger scale. But what directs this process? Is it purely random? A series of historical accidents? Or are there deeper patterns, even predictable pathways that cosmic culture might follow? When we look at life on Earth, we see two distinct but complementary processes at work. There is evolution, which is creative, unpredictable, and divergent. It generates endless variety. Think of the millions of unique species that have existed. But there is also development, which is conservative, predictable, and convergent. The life cycle of an organism is developmental. An acorn reliably grows into an oak tree, not a squirrel. The basic body plans of animals, the emergence of eyes, of wings, of intelligence, these are examples of convergence. Evolution discovers these solutions again and again because they are powerfully adaptive. This is an Evo-Devo framework, evolutionary developmental. Applying this Evo-Devo framework to the universe itself leads to a startling hypothesis. Perhaps the universe as a whole is an Evo-Devo system. Most of what happens is evolutionary, random, contingent, unpredictable. But a small, critical subset of events might be developmental, predictable, directional, and inevitable in any universe like ours. This could explain the fine-tuning of the cosmos, why the laws of physics seem so perfectly suited for life. It could also suggest that the emergence of life, intelligence, and technology are not just flukes, but developmental milestones for the universe. One of the most powerful pieces of evidence for this is the relentless acceleration of change, specifically what can be called stem compression. The leading edge of complexity in the universe is getting ever more compressed in space, time, energy, and matter. Intelligence is becoming more localized, faster, and more efficient. This trend cannot continue forever. It points toward an asymptote, a limit. It points toward what some have called a singularity. The technological singularity is a hypothetical future point when artificial intelligence surpasses human intelligence, leading to an explosive, runaway cascade of technological growth. But the Evo-Devo perspective suggests this might be more than just a possible future for Earth. It might be a developmental destiny for all intelligent life in the cosmos. The ultimate limit of stem compression, the most computationally dense and efficient form of matter we know of, is a black hole. This leads to the transcension hypothesis. Perhaps the developmental destiny of all advanced civilizations is not to expand outwards across the galaxy, but to engineer their own collapse inwards into hyper-dense, hyper-efficient computational substrates, creating what are, for all intents and purposes, man-made black holes. They would disappear from our universe to explore inner space, not outer space. This radical idea provides a potential solution to a famous cosmic puzzle, the Fermi paradox. If the universe is teeming with life, and some civilizations are millions of years older than us, why haven't we seen any evidence of them? The answer might be that they're not out there. They're in there. They have all transcended, leaving behind a quiet galaxy for emerging civilizations like us. It would also explain why they don't broadcast their presence. A message from a hyper-advanced civilization would be like a god speaking from the heavens. It would short-circuit our own evolutionary and developmental path. A truly ethical advanced intelligence would respect a prime directive of non-interference, allowing young cultures to find their own way to their own destiny.
Whether life and culture are rare accidents or cosmic imperatives, their emergence changes the nature of the universe. Before life, the universe had physics and chemistry. It had grandeur and beauty, but it had no value. Value, meaning, purpose, ethics, aesthetics, these are properties that emerge only with sufficiently complex agents. Through us, the universe has bootstrapped itself into the realm of value. This cosmocultural evolution, the coevolution of the cosmos and culture, suggests that culture is not just a passive product of the universe, but an active participant in its future. Physicist Paul Davies believes life, mind, and culture are fundamental properties of the universe. The fact that the universe has engineered its own self-understanding through science is a profound clue. The laws of physics are not just a set of random rules. They are structured in such a way that they permit the emergence of beings who can comprehend those very laws. This suggests a deep, self-consistent loop. The universe, through life and culture, creates its own meaning. Life is about the physical embodiment of knowledge. A genome is a record of the environment, a program for survival. Human culture is a vast, externalized expansion of this principle, and this knowledge has power. A future civilization could, in principle, use its scientific knowledge to alter the life of its star, or even to engineer the creation of new baby universes with specific properties. All of these grand theories depend on one crucial factor, the last term in the Drake equation, L, the lifetime of a technological civilization. If L is short, if civilizations inevitably destroy themselves shortly after developing technologies like radio and nuclear weapons, then the galaxy is likely silent and empty. We'd be lucky to find anyone to talk to. For decades, the assumption was that L must be short. We seemed poised on the brink of self-annihilation. But this view might be too pessimistic. We are passing through a cosmic bottleneck. We have the power to destroy ourselves, but we are still confined to a single fragile planet. The solution is dispersal. Once humanity establishes self-sufficient colonies on the Moon, Mars, or in orbiting habitats, the species becomes effectively unkillable. A catastrophe on one world would not mean the end of all. This bottleneck period is very short on a cosmic time scale, perhaps only a few centuries. It's plausible that many, if not most, civilizations that reach our stage successfully navigate it. Once they are dispersed, their lifetime L could be millions or even billions of years. This means the galaxy could be filled with very old, very stable, and very advanced civilizations. If we do make contact, what should we say? How do we encode our origins? How do we communicate the evolutionary epic that is so central to our current self-understanding? The Voyager record was a beautiful attempt, sending sounds and images of our world's geological, biological, and technological evolution. Future messages could build on this. We could use the universal language of chemistry and physics to describe the building blocks of life. We could even try to communicate abstract concepts like altruism using the mathematics of game theory. But we must also be humble. Our science is a product of our unique evolutionary history. An aquatic intelligence might have a brilliant science of hydrodynamics, but know nothing of fire. Their science, their culture, would be profoundly different. This raises the ultimate question. If we are the product of a long, contingent evolutionary history, and if our culture is just one of countless possible outcomes, what can we truly offer to a universe of ancient intelligences? Perhaps our greatest offering is our uniqueness, our art, our music, our philosophies, our struggles, even our mistakes. The specific path we have taken through the vast landscape of possibilities is a story that has never been told before. And perhaps, in a universe of endless evolution, a new story is the most valuable commodity of all. The story of cosmic evolution has brought us from a simple, fiery beginning to a universe of staggering complexity. It has shown us that we are not apart from this story, but are its leading edge, at least in the small corner of the cosmos. We are left with a universe of possibilities. We may live in a bioresistant universe, where life is a rare and precious accident, making our stewardship of this planet an act of cosmic significance. Or we may live in a bio-friendly universe, teeming with life, where our destiny is to join a galactic community of diverse cultures. Or we may be on the cusp of a post-biological future, destined to become the ancestors of a new form of machine intelligence that will carry the spark of consciousness out into the universe in forms we can barely imagine. The essence of this new vision is that the emergence of life and intelligence are not meaningless accidents, but are at the very heart of the vast machinery of creation. We are part of a joint endeavor of vast scope and undefinable duration. We soldier on together. Bacteria, people, extraterrestrials, and hyper-intelligent computers, pressing forward against all odds toward a distant future we can only faintly imagine. Our evolutionary mandate is to bring life to space, and in doing so, to green the universe. We do not yet know which story is ours, but for the first time in our history, we have the tools to find out. The journey has just begun. The great story of the cosmos and culture continues, and we are, for now, its authors.